Hello guys, in this video we will be research and developing the look of the pyro, so let's get started. First, as you can see, we need to pin the view, so go up to object level and click this pin button. So if we jump into the DOP network, the view won't change. Reset the sim. I put this at frame 17 temporarily, so I don't have to keep going back to frame 1 because the frame 1 to 15 kind of is a leeway frame, so just put those frames in when you want to render later. Okay, so we start at frame 20, turn off the sim. What I like to tweak first is mostly buoyancy lift, and in the combustion tab, the gas release, just to get the timing down. So first I'll work with gas released. I'll click, set this to a pretty high value, let's say 60. Go to frame, that's too much, go to frame 26, keyframe this, and keyframe it way down at frame 30. So keyframe this at like 4. Because with explosions, you notice that the beginning has this gigantic expansion as you saw in the reference. So we are trying to get that less than 1 second expansion going on before it slowly shrinks down and fades into smoke. So let's see. Okay, the flipbook is done. Let's take a look. It's slightly too slow for my liking, so we can increase it even more. Let's take a look. It's a bit slow for my liking. So I'll go to the simulation tab, go to the timescale, and keyframe the timescale. So frame 20 to 40 is 1.5, and I'll scale it way down at frame 60. Let's put it 0.8. Okay, let's take a look. It's faster, that's for sure. but the expansion is way too big for my liking. So let's try to scale it down just a bit. Let's take a look. Okay, I want the tail end to slow down even more, so I am going to tweak the time scale. And give it a bit of buoyancy lift. Maybe a bit more. Okay, the timing has gotten better. You can see it's now blending with the destruction quite nicely. I'm going to tweak the shaders in the visualization for a moment. Okay, so let's start tweaking the shape. Go to your shape tab, turn on disturbance first. Let's see. I notice it's a bit low res, so we are going to turn down the resolution. Go to your smoke object, decrease your division size a bit. Let's take a look. Maybe tweak the shaders a bit because I'm not happy with the visualization, so let's just do that. Go here. That's looking slightly better. So we are going to increase the disturbance. And turn on a bit of shredding. Okay, let's take a look. I noticed that there's some leftover heat, so let's see which value is causing that. Turn off the sim, click here to see the keyframes. Maybe turn the burn rate down. And turn up the fuel inefficiency. And let's just test that first before tweaking anything else. What I like to do is test one value as I change it, or two values, because if I change too many values at once, it's going to give me a very different look, and I wouldn't know what parameters I changed if I don't like that new look. So I just like to change a few parameters first and then test it in the flipbook. Okay. So okay, let's see the flip book. There's still leftover heat. So I'll keyframe some of the values down. Let's say temperature output. And key up cooling rate. Okay, let's check it out. It's slightly better, but I still don't like the heat, so we are going to try to go here. And you can keyframe these values too, so let me just do that. Say scale this down at frame 60. Let's see what that does. Okay, let's see. It doesn't do much, so let's try to figure this out. Maybe keyframe the temperature down too. As well as the density. Okay, it finally gave the results we want. So this doesn't glow anymore, which means keyframing the temperature and the density down is working, which is good. So let's improve on the shape now. We can maybe change the buoyancy direction a bit just to make it go that way. So if we see from the little icon, we want it going in Z. So X, Y, and Z. Let's put some on Z. It's slightly too much for my taste, but it does give a nice tilt. So let's just decrease this a bit. Okay, it's done. Let's see how it looks. It's better. It's moving more dynamic. That direction. For now, we can afford to bring down the resolution again. So let's go do that. Go to your smoke object. Turn down the division size a little bit, so it's more high res. At the meantime, just change something. So let's say turn on a confinement, then flip book. Okay, let's take a look. Looking quite good. There's the rolling, you can see. But I feel it's tilted just a little bit too much still, so go back. Decrease it. Go to your advanced. Go to advection. Change this to BFECC as well as this one. And go to your advection tab. Let me find it for one moment. Here it is, sorry. Advect fuel. Just advect it a tiny bit. Go to your smoke tab, as it's already emitting dense smoke, right? And no, it isn't. So click on create dense smoke. Turn up the smoke amount, say 5. Let's test that out. Okay, it's done. Let's see. We've got a pretty fierce looking pyro. It's a bit too fast at the tail end, so I'll probably adjust that. And it's too much smoke, so we'll turn up the dissipation. Go to your shape tab and keyframe your dissipation. So let's say frame 50. Keyframe it and turn it up at frame 60, or I think frame 70, so it doesn't look too abrupt. As for the timescale, turn it down a bit. Okay, let's see. I stopped it halfway because it's too much smoke, in my opinion. So I'll turn it up even more, around frame 40 for the dissipation, of course. So let's go to frame 40. Or I think, yeah, let's go here and turn up the dissipation. And then turn it up even more at the tail end. Turn it a bit down at frame 40. And let's see. Okay, it's done. But as you can see, the dissipation is way too much at the end. So I'll turn it up. And if I see the flip book, I think I can afford to slow it down when it gets to frame 40. So let's do that first. Okay, let's see. The tail end is dissipating a bit too much, but the timing is much nicer in my opinion. Has this smooth flow, but I'll fix the tail end first. And maybe turn down the resolution. Another thing, since it's high res now, it's very difficult to sim without it being very slow, especially if you're not working on a very strong computer. So what I do is I create a box, call it tracking, uncheck this so you can see the view. See, it's starting to get slower. So this is what I do to optimize it. Go here, scale it up, maybe even more. See your camera? Way too much. What I'm doing right now is I am creating an area for my bounding box to grow. So with this box, I am going to say this is the maximum size that my bounding box can grow. So for example, I want this box. Let me just grab the animation to put it in. So grab it from a node, Control C, Control V, plug it in, and the box will move with the spaceship. And I forgot to put in a null, so put in a null, call it max bounds, as well as this. I think you should just name it maximum bounds. Go into your pyro, go to your gas resize fluid dynamic, check this on, but change this to from object. So you go here, you find your maximum bounds, accept, and with this your bounding box should grow to the maximum size of this box only, if it can load. I think I need to reset my sim, so let me hide this first. Put this on pin, go here, test it out. As you guys can see, it cuts off. Why do I choose to cut it off here? Because first of all, we can't even see it in the camera view, so I'll just cut it off there. And second of all, it saves memory and it doesn't make the box too big for unnecessary calculations. So just make the box a reasonable size and put it in here, so your sim will be much more optimized and you won't spend that much time. Because if the pyro keeps going up, the bounding box is going to be obviously very big in the top area, which you are not even going to see. So I put a maximum bound, which is again that box that I just made, to solve that problem. Okay, let's continue. Pin this, go in here. Okay, let's say I'm happy with this resolution. Just turn it down a bit more. Escape. What I want to do is cache this pyro first of all. So let's go ahead and do that. Under your pyro visualization, right after your dot import fields, put in a file cache. save it in your directory, call it pyro1, pyro1.$f.bgo.sc, and then just click save to disk. Okay, it finally finished caching, so what we want to do is click load from disk, and since we're shading it with Arnold later, we have to actually cache this out as a VDB. So let's just do that. This actually took 10 to 15 minutes to cache, so it wasn't that long. So after caching normally, let's see the attributes, which is we have to actually make it play. Put your view here, put this down here, go to, okay, that's fine, go here, see all your attributes. You don't need fuel, so let's go ahead and blast that out first. Put down a blast node, go to the group and select fuel. So now you don't have fuel anymore, which is good. Okay, that looks soft, that looks nice. So put down a convert VDB, convert to VDB, of course. Put down a VDB vector merge. Why we are putting this down is because if you see the properties, there's velocity x, y, and z. So we need to merge this into one. If you put this here, this is only one velocity, which is good. Okay, so let's cache this out. Go to your directory, name it pyro VDB, pyro VDB dot $f dot VDB. Do not put it as .bgo.sc because we want to cache it as a VDB, so we put .vdb. Click accept and save to disk. It's pretty fast since we cached it out normally beforehand. So in the next lesson we will be starting Arnold and the pyro shaders.